My professor, Swaminathan, told me I should apply to IIM Ahmedabad. And here my mother was trying to get me married. She would tell every classmate of mine that came that at 17 she'll be engaged, at 18 she'll be married. At 70, I'm working so hard. It's insanity. But I would say the big difference, the thematic difference is that I have gone from accidental living to intentional living. The best way I describe myself as in my 40s is I was a type A, busy, worked 24/7, cared a lot about the results I had for other people because it wasn't about me. It was I doing the right thing for my clients? And I was stressed out all the time. My worst schedule was I would fly to Australia every 10 days for 32 hours from New York. And I would set up my play dates in the middle of the night from Australia for my little girl in Australia. It was how insanely I treated myself. It's a miracle, that I'm actually healthy at 70 now. Music is connected to IIM Ahmedabad, my getting in as well. As luck would have it, of course, I cleared all the entrance exams and everything, and the 100,000 apply, and then finally 500 get called for the final interviews, and they take 100 something. So we're in this 5-to-1 ratio, and I'm the last interview of the day for 3 professors. So at the last 5 minutes of the interview, Professor Mohan Kaul, who now is living in Paris or England in Europe, he has spent his entire many years of his education at the Sorbonne in Paris. Who expected that? Professor Mohan Kaul, in perfect French, puts his arm this way and he says, "Okay, you have done French. Now," he says, "this is the end of a very long day for us. Why don't you sing us a song in French?" The IIM professors, in the toughest interview that I've been through, literally for almost 50 minutes, because I was the last interview and I was a woman. I don't know what the reasons were. They killed me with the interview, with the content side of the interview. And the last few minutes was, "Will you sing us a song?" And I sang a song in French, Les Feuilles Mortes, which is a very, very profound song. I sang that, and I think that's why I got into IIM Ahmedabad. So music's played a part in my life in every which way, consciously and unconsciously. When I was recruited at McKinsey had never hired anybody fresh out of India at that time, ever. And particularly without an American education. I hadn't gone to school. I didn't have the great runway. I went to McKinsey for my first round they brought me back in the worst blizzard of the US. I had a pair of chappals. I only wore saris. I had thin silk saris. I never wore salwar kameez. I never wore pants. I was a very traditional South Indian woman, who was living in Bombay. I'd lived in Kolkata. So my entire McKinsey interviews, which was 16 of them, with all the different parts, 16 interviews to hire me at McKinsey over 3 days, was in 3 different saris and at open-toed slippers. And not one partner ever asked me, or any interviewer asked me, "Are you planning to change your clothes when you come here?" No, not one person asked me. They just accepted me. And that was amazing. Triyambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukamiva bandhanat mrityurmukshiyamamritat. Triyambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukamiva bandhanat mrityurmukshiyamamritat. Triyambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukamiva bandhanat mrityurmukshiyamamritat. Oh. Triveni happened because I was meant to do that. The team came to me, Wouter came to me and said, "Hey, please, would you work with us on this album?" This came from the fact that all 3 of us have been independently pursuing music for wellness or for healing in some way. So everybody needed room to express themselves. So we got together in New York for about a few days, and we battled it out. We sat together, we fought, we had fun, we created, we were in the studio, and we had never met each other. We just were in New York, not for hours. We would finish late at night and start early in the morning, and we just did music. And then the skeletons of Triveni emerged. We went back to our respective places. I'm in New York, Eru's in LA, and Wouter's in Johannesburg. So we all worked remotely after that. So this is a multi-global team. But these days, this is the wonder of technology, that you can come together in the most magical ways. Don't get me wrong, collaboration is a very tough process. It requires shoving your ego aside and, accepting compromises, even though you don't necessarily agree with it, for the greater good. And recognizing that you're not always right.